So this is my Raw on Netflix premiere review. Overall, I think this was a show which was a 5 out of 10, an average show, 3 out of 5 show, which I think got to a 3 out of 5 show also was because of two things which I will talk about later. But now let's start with the opening segment, which was an opening package, which we which many of us who watch regularly watched it on Twitter or on YouTube because it came out yesterday. It was essentially the story of WWE from the carnival ages to the modern era, and it really also had terms like wrestling terms like shoot, mark, real, unreal. So essentially telling that wrestling is scripted. But I liked it because and we the people who are angry that talked about wrestling being scripted, the hardcore AEW fans or the hardcore fans who don't even really like the WWE product or don't even watch it. they why are they talking about this like it's a new thing? Like, if you watch the WrestleMania 40 documentary, you clearly know that they have started to acknowledge the fact that they're a scripted sport, because they promoted that shit a lot. That WrestleMania 40 documentary about The Rock, Cody, Roman, Rollins, and everything. So I don't get why people suddenly think that WWE is doing it. They have been doing this for a while. Like, they do the post pay-per-view press conferences, which are shoots. Half of the, at least the Triple H part of them, are shoots. Like, Triple H openly talks about spots going wrong, or people not being available for stories and everything. So I don't get why people are thinking it's a new thing. And I think it's fine because the way that they have told this, they have essentially laid it out like wrestling is a story. Like, wrestling is a sport which is, it has everything. It has gone through like various stages, kind of like what America has went throughout their history. So correlating the wrestling to that, like different eras. You had Stone Colds, you had Hulk Hogan's, now you have a Cody, you had Roman and everything. So I really like that. And then going forward to the Netflix era is going to be this. So I really like that. And but the opening was very funny, like when they had the covers go off and it was just Triple H standing there. It was really funny. The visual was very funny to me. And Triple H, I didn't think he said really anything. He just said that we are on Netflix, it's a new era and all. And that was it. And then The Rock came out, and I was like, is The Rock interrupting Triple H? But no, Triple H was like gone when The Rock came out. And The Rock did like the old corporate face Rock promo. He had some of that beard, white beard, also looking like old man Rock. Like, he was like giving that promo that he gave when he returned, when he attacked Jinder Mahal. I think that it was like the tone was of that promo. And then he like just congratulated Cody also, which was like, why is he congratulating Cody? Last time he was there, he gave something to Cody, and it was like, okay. The thing is, I didn't really mind this segment as many other people, because I am like, these kind of segments are basically like out of canon segments, I think, which have happened before also. And then you'll see them next week or something going back to like hating each other. And they can do stuff to say that The Rock is the final boss. Maybe he didn't want to be like the bad guy in front of the Netflix network executives and everything, so he can do that. He also talked about Roman Reigns and everything. And he he also said that, I think if you censor the chants, it's going to be bad for you and all. And I think that was that. Then you had Roman versus Solo Sikoa, which was, I think, a 3.5 out of 5 match for me. First, I think I liked the interference also. The match was a little bit slow, I would say. The pacing was slow, but I don't think that The both the wrestlers were like not putting their efforts in. Like Roman did not look like, there are many matches where you can see that Roman really doesn't put in that much in those matches. He really doesn't put in that much. But in this match it didn't seem like he was moving. It's just that Roman's matches are a slow burn, and Solo is also a slow burn type of wrestler. So I think that is why the match was a slow burn. But I like the spots. Like I like the power bomb. Like I like the drive by that Roman gave Solo. I also like, Solo was trying to, push the cane onto Roman's face. I think it was, what did Solo land Roman on the table or Roman land Solo on the table? I don't remember. But that spot was also good. And also, one thing was that the table spot kind of lost its luster. And I'm not talking about the table spot that they did in the ring. I'm talking the outside of the announce table, because I think every match had like one or two spots where they landed their opponent on the announce table, which kind of took out the luster. And I think almost every match had some kind of interference, which also kind of like made it a little repetitive for me. But I think overall the match was good, and then the interferences happened. There were some close falls that I got excited on, like so solo hitting some spots was, I think, I was like, oh, and everything, because I think Roman is such a good like 2.9 kick out guy. Like Jacob really showed out, and the crowd was really excited for Jacob, and I am really glad, and I am really excited to see where Jacob goes from here. What happens on SmackDown about Solo's bloodline? Because then Kevin Owens comes out, and I think people were kind of right, like, why is Kevin only attacking Roman? Why not Solo? But then you can say that it's kind of like what reason Drew had. Like Drew also confronted Solo, like, you were the reason like I lost the title, but right now I respect you because you're going against Roman, because Roman is the big bad guy. And you can say that at least Kevin has more reason to go after Roman than Solo, than Drew did for going after Roman than Solo, because Solo caused Drew the match directly. Solo never cost Kevin his match directly. It was always the Usos, and especially Jey Uso, that costed Kevin Owens his matches against Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns was the one who put him through ambulances and everything. So Kevin Owens attacks Roman Reigns, and it kind of makes sense. Like the first chance Kevin Owens got, the first chance he got to attack Roman, and he attacked him. That is the thing, that the first chance Kevin Owens got to attack Cody, because he teamed up with Roman, he did it. And you can say, kind of, if looking at current storylines, it would have made more sense if Drew attacked him. But then you had Drew already, explain and kind of like write him out of interfering against Solo, because Drew in his promo said that, you take care of Roman and then I'll see you again. So, and then Roman hits his spears, crowd was super hot for him, and he won. The Rock came out. There was some kind of tension between him giving him, acknowledging Roman as the tribal chief and everything, him hugging him and congratulating him. He had a little bit of tension there. So The Rock essentially did, The Rock and Triple H, I think, because we are blaming The Rock, but I think the segments must have been planned together with Rock and Triple H. Like when The Rock confirmed he's going to be on Netflix, Triple H would probably have been, you are here. Let's make your appearance feel as much as useful as it can be. So I think The Rock completely killed the Cody feud, because they can always retcon and go back to you know them being enemies and all, but as of right now they have killed the Cody feud. Like Rock essentially having fun with Cody, laughing with him and everything, but at the same time you know having some kind of tension between him and Roman after The Rock came out to acknowledge him, after him becoming the tribal chief again. So he has essentially done two things. First, he has killed the Cody feud as of now, and he has kept the door open to a Rock versus Roman match in the future. Which I get why people are angry that, if you're looking at it like from a person who has, watched it for years and years, like he killed like the main storyline, like kind of like the main storyline. We all had the idea that that was going to be the match at WrestleMania next year, which was the Cody and the Rock feud. He completely killed that feud. So I get why people are angry, but then I think it's still better than if The Rock just came out and he just did like what Undertaker did, just like drive, like just come out, do his poses and all, and just went away. At least now we can like wrap a bow on it and like not be too speculative. Like things are wrapped. Like we know how things are right now. Like there's no more speculation. Like I think Sean Rossap and others have now confirmed that the Moana reshoots are happening. So I think if he had time to do WrestleMania, he would have done it. However selfish The Rock is, I still think if he had enough time to do Mania, he would have done it, and we would have had the Cody versus Rock match. But I think he didn't have the time, so I think him and Triple H both decided to, let's just wrap this shit up. And I think it's probably, looking at his future schedule also, his schedule in 2025, they have probably that, if you have time, we may have that Rock versus Roman match. If you have time, get that dream match out of the way. So I think that's the way going forward. At least we know the things that are happening now. So the probably is that The Rock is not going to show up at Mania. I think that's pretty certain now. Then going forward, we had, John Cena. We had John Cena, coming out. He had his promo, which I think was really good. Like Cena still got it. At least on the mic, he still has it. Like he he made the crowd go through all the emotions of him kind of doubting himself, at the same time kind of egging the crowd on, like maybe I can't win the championship, like it's not for me, like I'm just not winning the championship. It's been saying maybe I can win a money in the bank, maybe an elimination chamber, maybe the Royal Rumble, and then at the end it's like him announcing that he is going to be in the Royal Rumble, and instantly people who are not into Cena winning the Rumble are suddenly into Cena winning the Rumble. And you know what? It's the most obvious thing to happen. But right now, as The Rock is not coming back, Cena makes the most logical sense. And I would have Cena like maybe entering not at the start, but probably at a 7 or 8, maybe a 10, and then have him last through the end and probably have like a last sequence like Cody had with Gunther, but have Cena have it with some like young star or something, someone like a Braun Breaker or someone. Have Cena have a good 5-10 minute ending sequence with someone and then win the Royal Rumble. I think that's the most obvious, but also obvious is not bad, as we saw with Cody the last 2 years. And also we had, you know, the SmackDown stars in the back. The Carmelo's expression in that backstage segment was so funny. I really liked it. Chad Gable also, confronted. I think we also missed a lot of things in India because of the ads on Sony Live. Most probably next time I will probably use a VPN because I have a Netflix account now. Maybe I'll use a VPN and watch WWE on Netflix because I don't want ads, man. Because we missed some stuff. Like we missed the New Day, dissing Kendrick Lamar and all, and the Chad Gable, told Pierce, give me the best luchador next week, and it's probably going to be Penta, because first I thought, I made some wrong predictions. I think my match predictions also, like, except one match I was right on. everything. I think my segment wise predictions, I was, I think, except the Triple H thing, I was not right about anything at all. I think you had, Chad gave. They have clearly pivoted. They they were clearly going to have Mysterio and Penta facing the New Day, but I think now they have clearly pivoted for that. And in those backstage segments also, you could see, Dragon Lee, chatting up with New Day, and kind of like, I don't know what he was. I don't think he was arguing. He was kind of agreeing with them on something. So we're probably going to have Ray and Dragon, but that also has not been announced. Maybe there's still, uh, maybe the New Day match is probably shifted to another week because they have not announced the Ray and Dragon Lee match versus the New Day. Because now is, maybe they have pivoted, and maybe now you maybe Penta is involved in both, because Penta facing Chad Gable, it can be a great match if they allow them to go for some time, like they give them 10-15 minutes, they will go good. But if they just have Penta come in and squash Gable, I think that can work too. But I will have Penta, showcase all of the stuff that he has in his repertoire, his also ceremonies and everything, and also have Penta involved in the LW stuff too. I know people will say another luchador in the LW stuff. Not being another lucha guy, like have Ray and Dragon Lee taking on the New Day. What you have is, have Penta come out like in the middle or in the end of the match, and maybe Dragon Lee turns on Rey Mysterio and joins up with uh, with Penta along with Zelina Vega, and Mysterio only has, the two original members of the LWO. I think that can work. You know, both Penta and Dragon Lee can't really speak English, and if they can, they're not really good speakers on the mic. Zelina can be a good manager, can still wrestle while Phoenix is not here. Penta and Dragon Lee can team up. Go against the two other members of the LWO, Rey Mysterio with them. It can lead to a great feud. New Day can get their win, then they can go for the tag team title. I think that will be good. That will be good. I think you had the Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan match, which I think was a standard match. 3 out of 5 match. It was a fine match. It was not something special. Roman versus Solo, I gave it a 3.5 match. Rhea versus Liv, 3.5, 3 out of 5 stars match. It was a normal match, nothing really special. It had its interference, but in the end, Rhea hits Liv with two riptides and wins. And while um, they gave us the moment, Rhea Ripley finally, hitting the riptide on Dominic Mysterio. What I think is now that there's going to be, further tension in the Judgment Day, because Liv is going to be like, you were trying to go back to Rhea, and I think there are already tensions between, Finn and all and everything. And next week, because Damien Priest versus Finn Balor is happening in a street fight, I guess Damien Priest will win that, and I think it will probably that the Judgment Day interference does not work that well, and that's why Finn loses to Damien, and then you can have them on squabbling. But when you think that they're going to turn on each other, you have the Wyatt Six take them out. You have the Wyatt Six take them out. So then you can have the Wyatt Six and the Judgment Day feud. Because first of all, I think people said that the Wyatt Six and the Final Testament was also supposed to have a segment on Raw, but it was not officially announced. It was just reported, but it didn't happen. So I think probably the Wyatts versus Testament may happen like on a go home show of Raw or something, or maybe they have to put something on Saturday night's main event, right? If I guess that they are going to make Raw, at least the first few weeks, have special matches, but they need to put something for the Saturday night's main event. I think probably Gunther will have his match there because Punk, after his match against Seth Rollins, like announced for the Rumble in the post-match show. So he's not going to face Gunther for the World Championship. So you're probably gonna have Gunther versus Logan. You can have Gunther enter the Royal Rumble. You know, you have the reason. Like Gunther can say that the thing that my past few months have been ups and downs mainly because of my loss to Cody. So I'm going to, win the Rumble, go against Cody, win both the championships, show that I am the better champion also, and I'm going to take the championship from Cody. So rather than having Gunther versus Logan at the Royal Rumble, have Gunther versus Logan at SNME. Anyways, it's a TV special. At least Gunther will get his main event. He has got two main events till now as world champion. He will get another main event. He'll probably have a good match too. So I'll probably have that. Gunther also had a promo package. He was not on TV. And next, going forward, you know, Rhea wins the title. She also said in the post-show conference that she's done with the Judgment Day. But the thing is, then what is Rhea's match going to be at the Royal Rumble? Because I thought that Becky would come out. That was the thing I predicted, and it seemed obvious and it seemed that it made sense, but it didn't happen. Undertaker did. At first, I thought, like, you had only one women's match on the show, and you're having it being overshadowed by The Undertaker coming out, but it didn't overshadow. Undertaker just rode his bike, came back on the top of the stage, did the hands and looking back thing with Rhea, which was a pretty good moment, and then went away. I think it is good for the people who have watched wrestling before, like who know Undertaker is. Like majority who do not watch wrestling, they even know who Undertaker is. But newer fans, who have not watched wrestling or WWE ever, like that segment doesn't make sense. A woman wins a match, then some guy on a old guy on a bike comes out, then he poses with her, and then they just go away. That would be pretty confusing for them. So going forward, I just don't know who Rhea's opponent is going to be at the Rumble. Like it has to be Liv only, right? Because most likely that if Becky didn't come back this week, she's probably gonna come back after Lyra wins the IC title at the Rumble. Hey, IC title next week. So Becky's probably going to come out after that match to confront Lyra Valkyria, and probably they're going to have a match at Saturday night's main event. Maybe that's the match they're going to have. I think WWE is probably going to defend both the women's mid card titles on the Saturday night's main event card. Probably they're going to have that. I just don't know who Rhea's next opponent is going to be. It's not going to be Io Sky. I think Rhea versus Io should be a WrestleMania program with Io winning the Rumble. I'm really perplexed. Like Rhea is going to have a match at the Rumble. Like who is it going to be? And the thing is, next is probably that. So I don't know who Rhea's opponent is going to be at the Rumble. But then moving forward, let's get some stuff out of the way. They showed a lot of celebrities in the arena. Mackay Culkin, the guy who played in the Home Alone series, he got the loudest pop of the celebrity. Vanessa got a huge pop as well. She's everywhere. She was looking hot too. Nikki Bella was super hot, and I liked it. Vale didn't get any pop. Wale didn't get any pop. Logan Paul also didn't get any pop. He had his own promo package. I thought he was going to be the one interrupting Cena, but he didn't. He had his own promo package, and I think they showed him immediately after the promo package too. He didn't get any reaction from the crowd. And Logan, in the promo package, said that he's going to do Raw full time now, which I think is a lie. But the thing is, looking at Logan and him being such a conniving businessman, a douche really, but he knows that, Raw going on Netflix is gonna have a lot of eyes. He already has a big audience, if there is a chance for him to grow his brand even, bigger, if if that's what it's gonna take, appearing on Raw Netflix regularly, he would do that, and I think he will do that, and probably have a match against Gunther, because Gunther has no opponents now. So I think that's what's gonna happen with him. I think I really was enjoying the show until, it was still a lot of pomp and circumstance and all basically, but I was still enjoying the show until the Drew versus Jey Uso match. I liked the entrance of Jey Uso with Travis Scott. Travis Scott had a blunt, like him coming out to fiend in that arena with the lights and all, and then Jey Uso coming out, and like it was really awesome. Drew also came out and everything, but their match was so boring. Like Jay is so limited as a singles wrestler. I think what Jay needs as a singles ring wrestler is a person who can move around a lot. Like Drew can move around, but he's not essentially who can run for like 20 minutes or something. That's why like Jay Uso can have great matches with people like Braun Breaker, maybe Seth Rollins also, but he cannot have good matches against Roman Reigns or a Drew McIntyre, or I think even a Gunther. Like he needs someone who is like fast moving, who has that kind of moveset to hide his weaknesses. So I think that was a really, and then J1 also, which you know in ring wise it kind of makes sense, because the story of the match was that Drew always got better of Jay. Jay always got back up, but Drew took a lot of time. Like he took a lot of time for gloating and all. And this match also had like dueling chants between them. The Roman versus Solo match also got "This is awesome" chants, which I don't know. I think at that moment probably the match was reaching a crescendo, which I think was fine for that. Overall, the match was fine only. Then Drew was gloating a lot, and in the end, he lost to a roll up, which I think now it can work in the feud if you now have Drew and Seth slowly coming together. If you don't have them come together, then I don't think it makes sense. I get why they did this, because they want to extend this feud further. Because otherwise, if he just beats Jay right now, he probably has only Jimmy and Solo left, which I think, with Solo with Solo now probably being out for a few weeks or maybe months also. So so him beating Jimmy and then all this happening, I think it's probably going to shorten the feud, which they don't want. But I think right now with Jay being there, with CM Punk winning against Seth, I think this can really be like you can have teasers like Seth and Drew kind of like realizing that, oh, maybe the other person is right, maybe the other person is right, which is like all like on the face superficial stuff, but on the inside they know that they need each other, because in the end they know that alone eventually they are just going to lose their way. Like Drew came back, he was on a roll, he was super focused, but again against Jey Uso, his in his eyes, his like his main like opponent, like the person he hates the most, probably after Roman, probably after Solo, he lost because at the end of the day he just couldn't let it go. He just could not gloat. Seth Rollins, the person who he hates the most, CM Punk, all the things he believes that is true, but in the end he just can't get the better of him. Not on the mic, not career wise, not related to the fans, and in the end not even in the ring. So that is the real reason. But slowly have them coming together. Maybe get KO also on the same bandwagon, because KO also, attacked Roman, while Cody didn't come to save Roman. He essentially came to attack Kevin, and which is the truth. But KO can spin it around and said, I you shook hands with The Rock. I was beating up Roman Reigns, and you come out to save him, which is not true, but in his mind it is. And see what happened. And then these three have a lot of things in common, that maybe we need each other, because when we are alone and going up against the enemies of WWE, as the bloodline, the enemies of WWE, you know people like CM Punk, alone we may get led into a stray paths, because maybe our ego takes over. But maybe if we are together, we can be focused, serious heels, going against the vices that are afflicting WWE right now. So I think that way it can really work going forward. Then being a heel stable can really work. And I think I have discussed almost everything of the show. Then it's time for the main event: CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. This match saved the show. Like, this match was the reason why it became like a 3 out of 5, 3.25, 3.5 out of show overall. Because, and you can see it with Kay Adams, which she's like a NFL or NBA presenter or something. Like, she's big. Even she throughout the show only wrote "This is awesome" when she was watching the CM Punk versus Rollins match. And that's how you promote wrestling. You do not have 80% of pomp and circumstance and nostalgia, and like only 20% of actual programming that happens every week. I get you're trying to get in casuals, but there has to be a balance. There has to be 50-50. You have to have 50% of your normal weekly programs. Like, you could have added at least one or two matches more, which we saw, because the show's length was 3 hours, but it dragged on for a lot. Like, you could see, because they didn't have much planned for it, aside from like appearances, which are like 1 minute or 2 minutes, if it is not a Rock promo or a Cena promo or something. So in my opinion, they could have added one or two matches more. And aside, it was, if people watch this show, they would be excited, not much watching the product, but because how the way it was presented, the video packages, the way the cameras were set up, the way the arena was set up, the way it was presented. But the actual show, like, they would probably remember like the Cena segment, the Rock segment, and the and Roman and Rock, and the main event. Otherwise, I don't think there is much to remember. And if you want people to get invested, I get it's on Netflix, so you can't have it be an all wrestling show, but at least have it be 50-50. Like, have it be a 50 your regular programming stuff, and have 50% be your pomp and circumstance. And even that pomp and circumstance should be pomp and circumstance and nostalgia, which can be, woven into the ongoing narrative that is going in the show right now, or the ongoing storylines which are going on the show, rather than just being like appearances which don't make no sense. That's what WWE has to do. And next week we are back to like our regular schedule programming, like Lyra versus Dakota is happening. First, the moving graphics are so good, and second, the moving graphics with like two hot ladies, Lyra and Dakota, is good too. Is great. I don't know. And then you have Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser, Chad Gable versus mystery opponent, which is going to be Penta. Then you have Damien versus Finn in a street fight, ending their feud. So you have stuff that is going to happen next week, which which these four matches are there. You could have easily have had two matches here. Like, Damien Priest and Finn Balor could have easily, but okay, I get, because you're having tribal combat. Having another no DQ match does not make sense. But you could have had, the at least the you get like a Sheamus Ludwig Kaiser match, or like get a Chad Gable Penta match. You could have had those matches on the show. I think they could have, you know, and it would have, flowed much better. The pacing was not good. The pacing was not good on this show. And then I just hope that going forward they fix it. The Punk vs Rollins match was really good. At a moment, this did start spamming finishers, but I didn't mind it. People saying that the spots didn't hit good, but I think the way that the spots hit actually made it seem much more, real, because it it showed that they were being more stiff with each other. They were not being careful, and I liked this about them. They both had intensity on their faces. It was like they were out there to prove a point, and in the end they did. The final spot was a little bit corny, Seth after the first GTS, falling back on CM Punk, kind of like what the John Moxley spot was against CM Punk. Kind of corny, but I still liked the ending. CM Punk won clean. There were like many spots in the match where I was like, the match is over. But I was surprised. The match probably saved the show, and crowd was into it. Like the crowd were chanting not only "This is awesome," they were chanting "Fight forever." Like this is how you get crowds. I'm not saying just book like two random like indie darlings and have them have a match on the show. Have wrestling matches on your show which have a good story. Like I think even the casuals may have gotten into this match not only because Punk and Rollins, Punk is known to the casuals, but maybe because the video package explained the history behind them. And at the end of the day, they're good wrestlers also. So the combo, because of the combo, it had a better effect other than, just having a segment between two guys that the casuals may know, or having a great match with two people who know one another. You can have the combination of people who the crowd, the casual crowd may know, with the promo package explaining the history between two people, and then they're good wrestlers also and they have a great match, and the actual wrestling along with the story and the popularity of some people get people more into wrestling. That's how you do it. I hope WWE learns from it and does more of the shit that they're going to do next week than the shit that they do this week going forward. I hope that's what happens. So that was my Raw Netflix premiere review. It was a 3.25 out of 5 show for me. And my social media links are in the description. My Twitter and Instagram link is in the description. Please go follow me on those links. My UPI ID shafbo@okicici is also there. Donate so that I can make YouTube a permanent career. So that was it for today. So thank you. Goodbye. Alvida.